Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel for the final video I'll be doing with the Sideshow Collectibles 1/6 scale Michael Myers figure from the original Halloween movie. And this final video I'll be having some fun and swapping the head sculpt, the one that actually comes with the figure on the body at the moment by Sideshow Collectibles, going to be swapping that out for all my different 78 sculpts here. Now that's the Trick or Treat Studios one that I have repainted, but all the others are custom. We've got the Ryan Harper 78 here, we've got the Mad Bug V2 Nick Castle stretch, and we've got an old head sculpt by the legendary Ones Customs. That's the Blackest Eyes version 2. And then on the end we have a slight variant on the other one from Ryan Harper. So two Ryan Harper 78 sculpts on either end, and then the Tots repainted, the Mad Bug V2 and the Ones Customs Blackest Eyes V2. So I think to start off with, we'll keep it simple, and I'll just put the phone on a tripod here, and we'll zoom in, and we'll just swap, we'll just swap all the heads around, and then I'll put them in a pose, and we'll swap the heads around again. So it's just for fun, just for those of you out there who are interested to see how this Sideshow figure looks with all these different heads. So drop a like on the video if you enjoy it. Thank you for all your support on these videos, and a massive thank you again to Mike for trusting me with this figure, and it will be going back to him very soon. Thanks again, Mike. It really does mean a lot that you would trust me with your figure, and just an amazing community once again. Alright guys, enjoy this one. And after this video, I've got one video coming up on the Trick or Treat Studios Halloween Kills mask, a little announcement to do with that. Then it is Hot Toys Venom time. My good buddy Larry Phillips has trusted me, another great person in the community, trusted me with one of their pieces. He sent along his Hot Toys Venom figure, which has only just been released and looks absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to get it out of the box and see it. I'll do an unboxing tomorrow. I haven't looked at it yet. I've seen pictures and I've seen like Justin's video on YouTube and stuff. It looks phenomenal, so cannot wait to get focusing on the Venom videos. That's all coming up on the channel soon, along with a lot of other cool stuff too. Alright, let's get started with the head swapping. Alright, so phone on a tripod, got both my hands free, and I can swap these heads around for you. Now this is the Sideshow Collectibles head sculpt that comes with the figure, and I did the review. If you haven't seen the review, check that out. It's quite long, about 54 minutes long in total, and just went through all my little pros and cons with the piece. I gave it a good score though at the end, because it is, we're not going to get into that. I just want to reiterate that I do like this piece. It's just the fact that I have already so many versions of Michael Myers from the 78 classic movie Halloween. I really don't need another one. But if I didn't have what I have, I'd be all over this. I do like the mask. The hairline's a bit of an issue, but as you can see with the lighting kind of set up specifically to kind of hide the eyes, that looks really good. And someone did mention in the comments for the review, or maybe the post session it might have been, that this really reminds them of the artwork from the Halloween 4 cover. You know, that famous front cover where they kind of reused or made it look like the original mask was back. It definitely wasn't. But anyway, I think they did a good job with the mask. I really do think that looks nice. Alright, let me just take him away here so I can remove the head carefully. Let's pop that back there for you. Now the fun starts. Okay, so which one should I go with first? Let's just work from the end here on the left all the way down to the last one on the right. So we're starting with Ryan Harper and we'll end with Ryan Harper. But this is my favorite 78 Ryan Harper sculpt that I have. So, he's got blue tack in his head. I'm going to need to get that out first. Good one, Dean. Alright, well that wasn't too bad. Okay, so let's put that on there. So it's got a little hole in there that the neck peg should just click right into. And it does. It's a perfect snug fit. So, let's just tilt it down a little bit. Tame the hair a little as well. Alright, so there is Ryan Harper's 78 sculpt. He's probably done an even more updated version since this one, but it's very creepy looking. And there you go. Great hair on this one. Real hair. But one of my favorite custom heads that I have. I like the classic kind of Shatner sweep over at the top, and all the little horns that Ryan incorporated in there. He does the horns for you so you don't have to. Let's just see it from this side too. So proportion wise it seems to work quite well with Sideshow's body and coveralls. Alright, now let's try... Oh, the next one in the lineup is my repainted Trick or Treat Studios head sculpt. I lightened the hair slightly, which you can't really tell in the kind of shadowy lighting that I'm doing right now, but also you've got some weathering on the mask and some discoloration on the neckline and under the kind of jawline there and the tip of the nose and stuff. So that just goes right on there. I did show briefly what this looks like in the review. Just bring that collar up a little bit. But that is just absolutely killer. I mean, like it was originally when I showed it, I just think that looks incredible. As soon as you put the Tot's head on this body and this setup by Sideshow, it just becomes something terrifying. It really does. I love the way Trick or Treat Studios, you know, Justin Mabry, Alex Ray, the way they sculpted this, incorporated the horns. Very, very nicely done. Looks great from the front, looks great from slightly askew. The side profile is really on point. I love the sculpted hair on this. Perfect length, perfect style. And then askew, this angle. Side profile here, excellent. There's literally nothing to complain about. I mean, it's incredible. So, and it's so affordable, the Trick or Treat Studios 78 figure. So if you have the Sideshow figure, why not just get the Tots one just to mess around and do stuff like this? You know, a lot of people are... I think they said something about they're going to put this head sculpt on this and then they're going to set up the Tots one with the bob sheet so that they can have the bob look. But that right there is just... Tell me if I'm crazy, but I think that just looks perfect. Alright, and it sits on there perfectly. It really clicks into place. Now we have the kind of legendary Mad Bug V2, and this was painted and haired by Silent Surfer. And lots of flesh tones coming through underneath the white. Nice hair on this one. So I might have to remove some of this blue tack first. Alright, I've removed some of that blue tack. Let's just see if I can get this to sit on here. Goes on there alright. Not too bad. Yeah, that's gone on there quite well. Let me just... It's not gone down quite as low as I want it to, but it's really on the limit of how far I can push it down. I'm sure there's ways around that. You could remove the peg in the neck and futz around with it a little bit. That does look pretty good. Let me just move them back a pinch. So there you go. That is the Sideshow figure with the Mad Bug V2. I think it's definitely sitting a bit too high, but there's not much I can do about it. Just because of the nature of how the inside of this head sculpt, it's a bit more restrictive than the other ones. Like the Tots one just has a huge open, you know, there's nothing blocking anything. Whereas this one, you know, I'll show you in a minute when I take it off. That looks okay. Looks alright. Doesn't look too bad. It's interesting because if I put that head sculpt on my setup that I have on the shelf, which you've seen on the channel, you know the video I did recently where I recreated that famous picture of him at the top of the stairs in black and white holding the knife by the banister. This head sculpt looked perfect. It really was the best one for the job in that case. Whereas putting it on this setup doesn't look quite right. And I guess that is just because the head is sitting too high up on the neck. But because of the way... see, the way you just get the little hole, the rest of it is kind of... I know there's a bit of blue tack there, but you can still see the actual sculpt itself is kind of just surrounding that hole where the neck peg goes in. So that doesn't really work, the Mad Bug V2. Now, onto the classic, and very scary and intimidating looking. That's the thing about one's customs stuff. He always puts his touch on it and manages to make it his own, you know. This just looks a little bit more aggressive than maybe it should, but I like that about it. So it's got a bit of a blue hue to it as well. There's some really nice weathering on this, but it does have a bit of a blue tone, which a couple of times I was thinking, should I adjust that and just easily just go in with a bit of white paint and make it a bit more white? But no, I think I'll leave it exactly how it is. It is a classic head sculpt to have. I mean, I don't know how easy it is to get your hands on a One's Customs Blackest Eyes V2 these days. Now that might be a little bit too big for this setup, and also the neck is very wide on this one, but I've always kind of liked that about it. I always used to call this one the Great White Shark because the thickness of the neck and the black eyes, and I don't know, just reminds me of the beast of the deep, the great white. Yeah. So that's how that looks. Hair's pretty big on this one. It was rehaired for me. There is maybe a little bit too much hair on there. What are you going to do? It's better than the hair that it came with. You know, the paint job's incredible, but the old hair that was on here was kind of like that thick kind of carpet hair. It wasn't much you could do with it. But I think that doesn't really work proportion-wise. Interesting to see it, but I think the head sculpt's a little bit too big for this setup. So that just leaves us with the other Ryan Harper sculpt, 78. Basically the same as the one I showed you already, but the hair's a little bit different style. There are some subtle little differences between them. So let's try that out now. But so far, folks, I don't think I need to tell you that the Tots head sculpt... Oh, and that's full of blue tack. Hang on. Again. Me and my blue tack, folks. What are you going to do? Alright. So let's put the other Ryan Harper head on here. It goes on perfectly. So that's good to know, folks. If you are familiar with all the amazing work I've reviewed from Ryan, it's good to know that his 78 sculpt just goes right on the Sideshow setup. No problems. And it's good and sturdy on there as well. I think it looks fantastic. Proportion-wise, it works really well. And it's just super real because of the real hair. The kind of hair that Ryan uses on the 78 is very accurate. Color and just the way it sits on the sculpt. Very nice. So, the next thing I will do is I'll put him in a bit more of a stabby pose. Maybe bring the arm up and get that double bend elbow happening for you. Right, so I'm going to set him up in a different pose. And then we'll just try all the head sculpts again. And that'll be it. Alright, I should probably, for this, I'm going to use the rotating base. There we go. So, he's just stepping forward and he's holding on to the knife. Got it in the kind of downward position now. So this is the last Ryan Harper sculpt we looked at. That looks pretty decent. I need to push his hair down a little bit though. That's kind of lifting up there. There we go. Tame the hair. But I think that's definitely a winner. Both of those 78 Ryan Harper sculpts work very well with this piece. So you can find Ryan Harper on Instagram. Just type in Dean Knight 333 Ryan Harper into YouTube and you'll get a bunch of videos, and there's links to Ryan underneath all of those videos. I'll try and do that. Actually, I'll just flash him up on the screen now so you can see his Instagram page. You can find him nice and easy. Send him a DM and say, I would like to order one of your 78 sculpts, please. And while I'm at it, I'll take one of those juicy Halloween 2018 sculpts, which I've got handy actually. Got them right here. There's the old custom Ryan Harper 2018 sculpt. Look at that. Terrifying. Brutal. That's on the Tots 2018 coveralls and body. Right, so there is the sculpt from Ryan. Take that off. Let's try now the Ones Customs Blackest Eyes V2. Pop that on there. Again, too big for this setup, but might as well include it. Hair is massive. It looks really big. Doesn't really work. I may have to sell this one, folks. I don't know. I mean, if you've got a custom Michael Myers 78 figure setup and he's got, you know, a slightly taller body, this might be the one for you. But it's slightly too big for this Sideshow setup. So, but at least you've seen it. I'll let it just turn around the once. No need to linger on that any longer. Then the Mad Bug V2. Let's pop that on there, even though it doesn't quite sit down far enough, but yeah, it's just not sitting right, and there's nothing you can do about that, folks. It's just the nature of the way that head sculpt was made. Doesn't really work, unfortunately, with this particular setup here. Anyway, also gonna lock the focus here. 1 second, let's just focus on his face. There we go, and now it will stop. Anyway, let's get that off because that just doesn't work. Right, now we come to, in my opinion, the one that's best for this. Well, it's debatable. The Ryan Harper sculpts work perfectly as well. I guess it comes down to personal taste. I love them both, but I do love this sculpt. There's no hiding it. I think Tots have just done an incredible job. I mean, that's flawless. Look at that. Just straight on, bang, 78 Myers. Nothing you can do about it. It's just, look at it. The hair comes to the exact point on the collar as well. They don't clash. Nice bit of weathering on there by me on the mask. Definitely looks nice when you lighten the hair to a slightly kind of lighter brown as well. But that just looks incredible. And then we've got one last Ryan Harper sculpt. Like I said, my favorite of the bunch when it comes to Ryan's head sculpts for 78. My favorite sculpt by Ryan is the 2018 I just showed you. That one. Right, so there goes the Tots one. Let's pop Ryan's head back on there. That's done. And then we'll put the Sideshow one back on. Finish how we started. But that looks incredible. That looks absolutely incredible. What do you think, folks? Alright. And back to the head sculpt that came with the piece. I might have to just do this off camera. You want to hear the pop when you press it down. Make sure it's correctly in place and finish up. There we go. Back to the Sideshow Collectibles head sculpt. I'll just let that come around. Yeah, I mean, certain angles, like right now, looks fantastic, but yeah, it's not the best of the bunch. I think the best of the bunch, Tots, and kind of equally Ryan Harper's 278 sculpts also. Curious to know what you think, guys. Out of all the head sculpts you've seen on this piece in this video, which head sculpt do you think looks the best? Alright, thank you, Mr. Mike Watkins, for trusting me again with your piece, and I'll get it back to you safe and sound. I'll be in touch, and thank you everybody for watching these videos and for enjoying them. It's been an absolute pleasure, and like I said, I've got some cool stuff on the way to the channel, so make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon next to the subscription button. That way you get email notifications every time I upload a video. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at DingKnight333. Plenty of pictures and clips on there. Alright, see you soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.